Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
I'm Dana.
Bryan Mac.
Riley Mac.
We got a couple guests. Welcome, guys.
What's up, gents? Generational talent.
We got
over
a first-time guest and a long-time guest.
Multi-time guest. Mm-hmm. Welcome back, Bryan.
You want to tell them what we're here for, Dana?
Yeah,
We are here for Terminator.
That's right.
Oh, really?
The Terminator.
The Terminator. Is it The Terminator?
It is The Terminator,
Okay.
yes. Rated R, running time an hour, 47 minutes, released on October 26th, 1984. Directed by who?
James Cameron.
That's right, Jimmy C.
Written by also.
Yes, that's correct.
Stolen from a...
Who was nobody at the time.
An Outer Limits episode.
Did we,
something like that.
this is our first Jimmy Cameron.
Yeah, because he...
We didn't do Aliens, right?
Aliens is after this.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't do Aliens yet,
yeah,
so...
Not yet. Yeah, he was a nobody at this point, like a real nobody. He'd done Piranha 2 at this point.
He did
Piranha
something like
2.
that.
He did tell Arnold, he said something, I don't tell you how to act, so don't tell me how to write.
Yeah.
That was for the famous
I'll be
quote.
back, yeah, because
Oh, really?
I'll be
Arnold
back,
wanted to say, I will be back.
Yeah, he wanted to sound more machine.
Which makes actual sense
Yeah.
that, like, robots don't use
a pretty
contractions.
iconic line,
Yeah.
so...
Learning
Cameron
robots
said-
do.
Jimmy
There you
Cameron
go.
was like, fuck you, motherfucker.
Maybe. They did a bunch of movies together, so I think they were okay.
I think that was it. He
this.
said after that, he's like, shut up, and they were like buddies, So,
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to try anything in his top 4?
I'll let our guests try.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would think Terminator 2.
Terminator 2, what? I need full title, please.
Judgment Day.
Thank you.
then-
that is in this top 4, yes.
Avatar.
Avatar.
And Titanic.
Oh, but this is James Cameron's
Yeah,
top
yeah,
2.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was thinking Arnold for some reason.
Arnold's in Titanic. He's
Yeah,
the
he's the
iceberg.
boat. He's
Yeah.
the okay, he's
the
iceberg.
Both Avatars are in there.
Both of his
Avatar,
Avatars.
The Way of Water, and Avatar.
Oh.
both
Yeah, I was
made
going
it
to say
in there.
Avatar, too.
So you got one more movie to get.
And what, T2's in there?
T2's in there.
And
you
it's
got-
not Titanic?
It's not Titanic.
How about True Lies?
Not True Lies?
Because that's his other Arnold one with Jamie Lee Curtis. It's a great movie.
It could be a movie I just mentioned.
Terminator?
Aliens.
Aliens. That's
Aliens,
correct.
oh,
Yes.
shit.
That was a great movie, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who did Alien? Was that?
Alien was Ridley Scott.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
then David Fincher was Alien 3, right? David Fincher? Yeah, David Fincher.
Yes.
Oh,
about
each one
that?
has a different director?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, I
I didn't
didn't
know that.
realize that either.
Huh.
I thought it was...
And then after that, I don't know who did any of the...
But then Ridley
Okay.
Scott came back for like Prometheus,
Something
I
like
think.
that,
Something
yeah.
like that, yeah. IMDb description: a human soldier is sent from 2029 to 1984 to stop an almost indestructible cyborg killing machine sent from the same year. Oh, sent from the same year. That makes more sense when you
Sent
say it
from
like
the
that.
same
Yeah. I should read these first before.
I'd like to correct... Well, finish. I'd like to correct you on something.
Which has been programmed to execute a young woman whose unborn son is the key to humanity's future salvation. Future title there, huh? Salvation.
It says when they show the 2029 scene, they show 2029. That's the pew, 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 and then they say the
Oh,
present
it comes
day.
up and-
But then it says the present day. So this is just like Splash when it wasn't. It's not
Yeah,
really.
it just said
it's,
today.
It's not 20 years ago. It's right now. So really, they're only going back in time 5 years. This
Yeah.
is taking place in 2024. Although the cars don't look like it, but when it said today, I'm like, is
But
this really
didn't-
happening right
I don't
now?
see us being
Didn't they
5
give
years
a
away from
date?
this, do you?
I thought the date was
Yes,
May,
yes,
early
something.
mid-May.
May 12th.
May 12th.
Yeah, he has to
Yes.
pop or something
Well,
like
yeah.
We'll
that.
have,
He says
we'll have a
1984.
discussion about a date, about a movie next year. We'll do that a lot. There's a movie with a date in it next year we'll be doing.
A movie with a date in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say 1984, but we're not.
It'll be 1985, and it'll be it'll be going back to another year.
Oh, Back to the Future.
1985,
Yeah. We'll get to that. So the thing I was joking around about is like, if this is really only taking place like 5 years in the future, because they say present day. I was like,
Yes.
L.A. looks like 90% on its way to looking like the future version of L.A. in this, like that.
Yeah, we're
bombed
pretty
out-
much there now.
Yeah, that bombed out grossness. I was like, that looks like L.A. right now.
Except it's going to be its own entity, like it's going to be its own country.
They're just going to saw it off like Bugs Bunny and push California out into the ocean.
I got a few taglines for you. I'll be back was one of them. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
I'm surprised back then they knew that was like a line to... Like, I could see that being Terminator 2's tagline.
It seems like
but-
that's, the thing that won't die in the nightmare that won't end. And then your future is in its hands.
Okay.
The other two were kind of lame.
Uh,
Not gonna
yeah.
lie.
They
Yeah.
usually are. Yeah.
There's
I
one.
like
There's
Come
one
With
I'm
Me
not
If
even
You
going to
Want
say.
to
It's just
Live.
too long.
Oh yeah, bro. Where's Come With Me If You Want to Live?
Yeah, right.
Let's
would be
get
good.
right into the cast. Playing the Terminator was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Now, this is not our first Arnold movie.
No, because we did the Conan.
Conan the
Were you
Barbarian.
here for that?
Oh.
No.
No, that was just a family one with me, you, and Bryan. I think then, right?
That was a very early. That might have been one of the first
I think it was our first.
1982 movies we did.
It was
Oh,
because that was
yeah.
our first one. After
was
we
all-
did Police Academy and Clue. And
Right.
We did a
Yeah.
couple of those like that.
That was Arnie's second movie.
Yeah,
Right?
after
He had the Hercules Takes Manhattan.
What? Is that a
They
real
had
movie?
dubbed over. Yeah.
He was billed as Arnold Strong.
What about Pumping Iron?
you serious?
That one counts. Pumping
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Iron.
that was a documentary, but okay,
He was coming.
technically.
He's going to be coming everywhere.
Coming every day. No,
It's
day
really
and
funny.
night.
The
day
fact
and night.
that Arnold can mimic all these voices in there. He can mimic the cop. He can mimic Sarah's mom's voice, but
Yeah.
he chooses to talk like Arnold
No, he doesn't.
Schwarzenegger in this. I'm like, choose one of those other voices. man.
Well, nobody questions him being quiet now because he has an accent. He might not know English very well.
Get James Earl Jones or something, right?
That would have been fun.
Let's hear what do you got for Arnold's top four.
I'm going to assume this or Terminator 2. I'll say Terminator 2
Both
over
of
this
them
one.
are in there.
Both
yeah,
of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Predator.
Predator's not in there. No.
Kindergarten Cop.
I love that movie.
No.
How about the Twins?
No.
Junior?
No.
Commando.
No.
Red Dawn.
No.
He wasn't in Red Dawn.
Red Dawn.
Or Red Heat. Red Heat. Sorry,
Red Heat,
sorry.
no.
Oh.
The Sixth Day. I don't think I know
Oh,
that
man.
one.
Was that the one with James Caan? Like that was one of his later.
The other one, I
Yeah.
think I'm going to let you guys keep guessing.
Last Action Hero.
That is it.
Oh.
There it is.
Shit.
Yes.
I like that.
I did too.
I didn't see
But that
that
was
one.
like the beginning of the end of the Arnold reign. Like
They
that
started
movie
getting-
got
yeah.
that movie got shat upon, and after that they were just like, oh, this guy's not guaranteed box office gold, and
Get him out of here.
They
Yeah,
had. That's when they saw their run. Was like, God,
Yep, that was it.
it's
That's when he
you
started
know.
doing like the 6th Day and Eraser or something like that. With
Oh,
that might have been
Eraser.
the one with James Caan and Vanessa
I remember
Williams.
not liking that.
No,
I think
it
I
wasn't
turned
good.
it off.
It was not good.
Yeah. And then up next, playing Sarah Connor
Sadakana.
is Linda Hamilton.
I don't know anything
And
she's
some
in
of
her
besides
worst-
the
some of her
Terminator.
Children
worst
of the
acting.
Corn.
Oh, her
Children of the
acting
Corn.
was terrible. Oh, I love Children of the Corn.
We will be
T2,
doing
she
that
was
this
worse.
year.
Yeah, that's this year.
Children of the Corn is this year.
She
I
was in
never
Beauty
even
and the
saw
Beast.
that movie all the way through. So
Oh my god, I've seen
I
it.
love it.
That was one of those movies my dad had on VHS set. Every time I go to his house for the weekend, he'd be like, "What do you want to watch?" And I'd be like, "Children of the Corn." And I'm
Would he
8
watch it
years
with
old
you?
watching it. No, he's go sit over there and I'll put in this VHS tape and
You just
don't
let you
do
watch
anything
the horror movie
bad.
by yourself.
Oh yeah, we had Nightmare on Elm Street. My dad also would pull back.
That's another
so
one
you
we're
like
doing
to
this
scare
year.
the shit out of you.
Yeah,
Nightmare on Elm Street, we
I
did that
loved
this
it.
year.
I love that stuff. I loved
Oh,
going to my
good.
dad's because he'd always be like, "Yeah, you can watch whatever you want." My dad was cool like that when I was a kid. And then I'd go home and have nightmares. And
All your childhood movies are this year.
I know.
We're doing
Is this
Children of
the-
the Corn
really are.
Nightmares
Yeah.
this
Did your
year.
parents get divorced in 1984? Is that why all these movies are coming out now?
No, it was long before that. But
So
yeah, he was
Terminator
cool like
and
that.
Terminator 2 were both in Linda's top four.
And she wasn't in any of them
Beauty
until
and
the
the
last
Beast.
one. Dark
She
Fate.
was in Dark Fate.
Yeah, Dark Fate.
And that's
I was
also in
gonna
her top
Okay.
four.
Okay.
There's one movie that's not a Terminator movie in her top four.
And it's not Children of the Corn?
No.
And it's not.
She was in Beauty and the Beast. Do you remember
the
that?
cartoon?
No, the live with Ron Perlman was the
Oh, the
Beast.
TV show.
Yeah, from
Oh, was
around
she-
that.
was
Yeah.
she-
Actually, I think it was before she
Was
was
she
in
the
Terminator.
beauty?
Yeah, she was the beauty.
I've never been a big fan of Linda Hamilton.
I haven't either.
Looks
She gets
like
too
it.
muscular
Well,
for me.
that, I mean.
Oh, I
for
thought her
sure,
arms
but,
were
like,
phenomenal in
Yeah.
the second one. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's
I
a nice look. Yeah.
She could
Her
she could
acting
beat
was
me up.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's
Second
kind of
one.
like a. Like, I don't think she's that attractive.
I
Even
didn't
in
think
this
so
one,
either,
like,
yeah.
as
Yeah.
a younger
Yeah.
person.
She's
but-
not. I think she was prettier in the second one because I think she just had a bad
Ginger's
80s
hotter.
haircut,
Yeah.
and I think that made her look
She had
weird.
like a weird perm kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Ginger was definitely hot.
That scene where the two of them are like
Ginger.
crimping their
Yeah,
hair
Ginger.
in front
Oh,
of the
her
mirror. I was like,
roommate?
Yeah.
has there ever been a more 80s scene than those two girls with their hair just
Yeah,
And the Walkman is
yeah, that Walkman
so
got her killed.
the other movie is Dante's Peak.
Oh,
was that one
I
of
saw
those
that. That's a
volcano
ones?
volcano
One that
movie
you would like,
with
yeah.
Pierce Brosnan.
There was a Pierce Brosnan one, and there was a Tommy Lee Jones one
It
at the
was-
same time. So
Tommy Lee Jones was with the girl who was married to Ellen that died. Those two were in the movie together.
Oh yeah, and
And
Hayes.
Hayes. They were in
Damn, she's dead. That's right.
Those two movies came out at the same time. And
I remember
honestly,
seeing
I
the
mixed
same
them
week.
all together.
Her death was weird. I remember seeing that video. Like she was getting
tried to
crashed
climb
into
out of the
someone's
body
house.
bag.
She tried to climb out of the, right out of the back of the damn ambulance. It was like
They're like,
crazy.
no, you're dead, man.
But she was all like
But
coked
then
up
she
or something,
said
right?
that she was dead. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, she.
I didn't think she was going to be dead. I thought she was going to be like really messed up. But
Yeah,
that was crazy.
yeah.
That was crazy.
Playing Kyle Reese.
That was kind of Terminator-ish, too. She thinks she's dead, and she's trying to get up.
Kyle Reese was played by Michael Biehn.
I feel like I've
Bean-
never seen that face
I think
before in
I
my
think it's
life.
Bean.
Yeah, it's Bean.
Bean?
Bean, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, he's in Aliens.
Terminator is in his top 4. Aliens is in his top
Oh, okay.
4.
And he's in one of the Wyatt Earp movies, either Wyatt Earp or Tombstone. I forget
He's
which
not in
one.
Tombstone because I would have
Tombstone.
recognized
He's not in
him.
the top
Is he in
four.
Tombstone?
I think he is.
Maybe I'm mixing it
Yeah,
up.
he's
but
in
I
one of
thought he was
those
in
Western
Tombstone.
movies.
It's not in his top 4.
He was
either
one of the
way.
villains in Tombstone,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's your favorite.
Yeah, I've seen it, but maybe he just looked different haircut. Years later, maybe
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
think
didn't
he had the
recognize him.
handlebar mustache going on, too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A mustache can really
Something
change a
big that he
person's
was in.
face.
Yeah, the two movies the other two movies.
Yeah.
And they both begin with the.
Do I know them?
Like
You've
the
heard of him.
Terminator?
Oh, okay.
I don't think you've seen
I
them.
probably haven't
Maybe
seen them.
one out. You might have seen one of them or heard of it. You've heard of one of them at least.
Okay.
I'm not getting it. It's not coming to
No,
my
all
brain.
right.
Yeah.
The Abyss is one of them.
Oh, another James Cameron movie.
And the other one is The Rock.
For who is this now?
don't-
Michael
did I see-
Bean.
Oh,
Kyle
Michael
Reese.
Did I see The Rock?
That's why I thought you
No.
might have seen that one.
Who's
trying
in
to think
that?
of where he's in the abyss.
Michael Bean.
No. Who stars
Rock?
in that? Who's the
The
star of The
Rock?
Rock? Yeah.
Sean Connery.
Nicolas Cage, Sean
Nicolas
Connery,
Cage. All right, I
Ed
watched
Harris.
I thought Con Air and The Rock were similar, so I chose to watch Con Air instead when I did my recent
I think they were both,
watch. Yeah.
at same
I think
Okay.
they're both worth a watch.
Yeah.
but Con Air was like more funny, I think, more like silly.
Yeah.
Great movie though.
Yeah.
Con Air.
Kind
They
of
were
was
both
fun.
great.
What year was that?
Con Air.
97, I'm
Yeah,
gonna say,
that's-
because
that's-
I think
we got
Michelle and I saw that in the
ways to get-
theater.
Yeah.
Dating.
Up next, playing Traxler was Paul Winfield.
Okay.
Who was Traxler?
He was the head cop. He was
Yeah.
the black guy that was
Oh,
like kind of like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay.
He's like, I've slept on this couch
Talk
many
about
times.
smoker.
He died-
Yeah, he was a chain smoker.
He died
Yeah.
in 2004, age 64, from a heart attack.
Emphysema?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
He's Terminator. He's in the Terminator. That's in his top 4.
He was he was in Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan.
I was just gonna say we did a movie he
Yeah,
was
he
in,
was
and
in
it was
Wrath
Star
of
Trek
Khan.
2, The Wrath
He's
of
in the
Khan. That's in his
earworm,
top
right?
4.
Yeah, he's the one with Chekhov that gets the ear thing
Yep.
put in. He kills himself.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's kind of all I know him from.
Me too.
You know this movie, Mars Attacks. He was in that
Oh,
movie.
shit.
Okay. I don't
I remember
remember
that
him.
movie, yeah.
in that,
And then
but
an older movie,
Now
The
Jack Nicholson
Serpent
was in
and the
it, too.
Rainbow.
love that.
Oh,
movie.
that's a
Serpent and the
terrific
Rainbow is great.
Really?
That's Bill Pullman down in
Yeah.
like Haiti
Louisiana,
with
I thought.
no, it was like the zombies.
What
in
year was
Haiti.
that? That was
was like 89
Yeah.
or something
Oh,
like that.
I never heard of that one.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I think, you and
Yeah.
I
That's a
think
good
we saw
one.
that in the theater together, Brian.
We
Like
might
we went
have.
from like Ryder to go see that in the theater. That
We
was a
very well could.
trippy movie.
Huh.
Yeah.
It was
And you
wild.
said it was who?
Bill Pullman.
Bill
Pullman,
Pullman.
yeah.
He's dead.
probably-
Is he still alive?
No, 'cause
No, Bill
He's going to say
Paxton.
Bill Paxton
I know.
soon. And not that Bill.
Bill
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 Paxton was in
They're very
Tombstone.
easy to
that
get
I know
confused.
for sure.
Yep.
He was in
Playing-
Weird Science. That's where I always know Paxton from
Yep,
Chet.
Chet.
Playing another cop was Vukovich was Lance Henriksen.
Okay.
Is he like the second in command
Yes.
cop kind of
Yeah,
guy?
wasn't
He was like the smart ass. He was having
Yeah.
smart ass.
Yeah, the guy. who
James
put a
Cameron
cigarette out
wanted
his
to
car.
bill him as a Terminator, I heard.
Yeah.
The
and that's why-
Terminator was not in his top 4.
But then he made him the robot in Aliens.
Aliens
He's
is in his
Bishop.
top 4.
Oh, okay.
He's Bishop in Aliens.
So he finally got him a robot role. That's nice.
Does he play the same character in Alien versus Predator?
in Alien versus Predator, that's a modern story, not a future story. He plays like the head of the company that's going to end up making the androids in the future, and they base the androids on him because he's the same guy.
That's in his top 4.
Okay, yeah. He's like dying of cancer in that one. Anthony named his dog Bishop after this character, Bishop.
Oh.
Well, the character in Aliens, not the character in Terminator.
I think Hard Target, that sounds like a Seagal movie or something,
Totally
right?
sounds
Yeah.
like
Oh my god! Yeah,
Yeah.
it really does.
A bad
And then the Quick and the Dead.
You don't even need to say bad.
No, it's just a
That's
given.
true.
Yeah.
Under Siege was okay. That was a good one.
Yeah.
With Busey and like some other people, but that's like the only one I'd watch again.
That's because there's an insane person in it.
It's not Seagal.
Playing
Exactly.
Matt was Rick Rossovich. Matt was Ginger's boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
He was trying to get her to talk
yeah.
dirty.
Man, he could,
Yes.
take a punch, man. The Terminator was beating the shit out of him, man. Threw him into the mirror.
Don't make me bust you up,
He
man.
reminded me of the guy. I don't know if it was him or not from the Return of the Living Dead. Is that a different guy?
I don't know. He might have
Oh,
been in
yeah,
that.
I
It's
think
not
it
in
might
his
have been
top
the same
4.
guy.
It's not in his top 4, but he could have been in that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I didn't see a really good shot of him. He was always in
Yeah,
shadows
that's why
and stuff
Terminator
like that.
is in his top 4.
Okay.
You should be able to get.
I don't know him,
No, all right.
so
He played.
yeah.
He was in Top Gun. He was Slider.
Really?
He was Slider in Top Gun. He was in Roxanne. That was the movie with
Oh,
the
yeah,
nose.
with the big nose guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
Steve Martin,
Steve
and Daryl
Martin.
Hannah, yeah,
And then Navy SEALs. I think I remember that.
Navy SEAls. I
I don't know if that was a spoof or not, but I think it was like. I think that was an 80s movie. I'm not sure. Playing Ginger was Bess Mata. She only had 7 total credits. She only had a top 3, and one of them was a 20-minute workout.
Oh, it worked out
And the other one
too.
was the Terminator. So, and the third movie was You Talking to Me. So I don't know.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That sounds like an 80s movie also.
Yeah, right?
Talking to
Was
me.
she the roommate?
Yeah, she's the one that
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
shot in the back.
Yeah, I didn't recognize her.
She didn't do much after this.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Playing Silberman.
See,
was-
it helps when you're sleeping with the director, like Linda Hamilton was
Yeah,
doing.
I was about to
We'll
say.
put you in the sequel.
Oh, was she? Were
They're
They're
married.
married.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're
I
married
didn't know
by
that.
the time
But they didn't start hooking up till after.
not during this, but
Yeah.
I think like by Terminator 2, they were married or
Yeah.
already divorced by then.
Maybe he got her acting lessons in between.
because he
'cause
marries.
it didn't
every-
work.
Like, I just found this out.
She
like,
was definitely better, though, in the next
you know,
one.
he married
But-
The second
Catherine
movie,
Bigelow.
She got the catch
acting's
test
bad,
casting.
Yeah.
And then I think he's married currently now to the. I mean, this is a deep pull in Titanic.
think you're right.
In Titanic, the young girl that's
Oh, that
Rose's
takes her
granddaughter.
yeah.
I think he's married to her
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah. So
Huh.
she's not young anymore. That movie's like 30 years old now. So she's probably
He's
in
also
her
been down in
50s.
that thing that exploded
Yes,
too, right?
yeah, to see the
He's been
Titanic.
down.
serious?
He's been
Yeah.
down in that thing.
I think that's
Oh
how
my
he
God.
started getting interested in the Titanic, doing the movie. He went on one of
Oh,
those
so
things.
he went
Yeah.
Yep.
way long time ago.
There's
I
people that
guess.
have too much money. They
I
think of the
know.
most craziest thing. That's why they're going into space now.
Oh,
You know?
dear God, they should stay up there.
They don't come back.
Earl Bowen was playing Silberman. That's the guy we looked up the other day.
Oh,
the bald guy.
he's the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen him in so many things,
He's been
but
in a lot
I
of stuff. Yeah,
can't name a thing he's in.
He was
You just saw him in Terminator 2:
Yeah,
Judgment
Terminator
Day.
2.
And he's
yeah.
in 3 also.
He's also in Rise of the Machines and Terminator. So the first 3 are in his top 4.
He's in Genesis too, I think.
That didn't make
Oh,
his
no.
top 4 though. Yeah,
That was a terrible movie. My
You
God,
do
that was
know
so
It was
this
bad.
movie.
terribly great, though.
Oh no!
you do
Not
know
like
the
this.
4th movie. It's not a Terminator movie though.
I feel like it's on the tip of my. I meant to look up his
a
his
comedy.
IMDb.
I was gonna say he's like the principal or a teacher. He's got.
I
that
got a
look
principal
where he's
teacher
like
vibe from him, too,
looking-
yeah.
like
The
that.
Man with 2 Brains.
Oh shit!
Oh.
Man, we did that movie
Yep.
too, right?
Yep.
I remember like he's in the scene when they're in Europe and he's fighting with Steve Martin for some reason. I don't remember exactly what his point in the movie was, but he might have been a psychiatrist in
Yeah.
that too. Because Steve Martin's claimed he had 2 brains.
Up next, playing a pawn shop clerk was Dick Miller.
Yeah.
Love Dick Miller. Terminator's in his top 4. You should be able to get some of these.
He's in Gremlins, right?
Gremlins is in his top 4.
Oh,
yes.
Tara goes, that's the guy from Gremlins. I
Yep.
was like, what?
This is the guy
Did she say
that-
came out in
this-
his robe?
The
in
guy that
Gremlins
sold
or
the
something?
guns
Yeah.
that he shot. Now, let me ask you, you're a gun guy, Brian. I was like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, do they leave ammo sitting around on top of the...
Sometimes.
Do they really? I thought
But
that
every
was
time I go to a gun store, I'm thinking that the Terminator
Oh yeah.
did make that move.
Yeah.
It's usually just like shotgun shells, and that's exactly what the Terminator used.
Yeah, that seems very careless.
It's usually
though,
like skeet shot,
Okay.
stuff that you use just for practice, but up close it'll still kill you dead. And I always think, I could have this gun for free.
That was just such a great line, though. He's like, you can't do that here. And by the time he got the words out, he was
It's
already
like, wrong.
back.
There's
He was in the
another
guns.
great 80s movie in his top 4. Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight is also in his top 4. But
That was okay.
there's a good 80s movie.
It was just like a
I think
character
it's actually
actor,
come
wasn't
up on the podcast recently.
We haven't done this movie yet.
We haven't done this movie, but it's an 80. I think it's like 89.
Oh,
but
yeah, yeah. Oh, jeez.
Corey Feldman's in it.
License
License to drive?
No.
Law school.
I was going to say Stand By Me, but that wasn't 89.
The Burbs.
Oh, The Burbs. I haven't seen that in so long.
Yeah.
I would have never. I didn't recognize him from Gremlins. So
But
Tara did.
recognized him. That's
Sometimes she
awesome.
says things, and I'm like, "Are you sure?" And then she looks it up and goes, "Yes."
Sean Sheps played Nancy. I don't remember who Nancy was now. I don't
Nancy?
remember Nancy.
No clue.
Was she
I
one
can't
of
think
like
of
the
another
girls at
woman who was in it.
Maybe she was the one at the diner that she was working at or something.
Maybe
like
she
that?
was at yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh, one of
'Cause she's
yeah, her coworker.
her coworkers. Okay.
she's a
Yeah,
writer
yeah.
for others. So she was in Weeds, The Closet, and Encino Man. I guess she wrote that.
Wow.
Oh,
Franco Columbo. He played the future Terminator. He's
Yeah.
also played Arnold's trainer.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Okay.
He died in 2019, age 78. But he drowned on August 30, 2019, after feeling unwell while swimming off the coast of San Teodoro, Sardinia. Columbo died during transportation by helicopter to a hospital in Olbia.
So he died from he had a heart attack from
he must have had like water in his lungs or something. I don't know, just like to die that
just
way.
being 78 and doing all that strenuous swimming, man.
He was Arnie's buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in pumping iron together because they worked out
They
together.
were coming everywhere.
Yeah.
Day and night.
Sorry, I don't know if you know that reference. I
No.
apologize. It's disgusting. I know.
I don't care. But who are you talking about in this movie?
In the future scenes when Reese is like sleeping and he's dreaming, that scene where the kids are looking at the
Oh,
fireplace
okay.
TV
That's
and the
him. All
Terminator
right.
comes in there and starts
That was
shooting the
him?
place up.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorite scenes.
Oh, it's a
his
great
eyes
scene.
turn
Yep.
Yeah.
red. You could see them there.
You know, you can actually see an effect like that during the police station scene.
Arnold's eyes turn
Yeah,
red.
like with the gargoyle sunglasses. You can, I guess, like the glint of the light in it is like whenever he's facing the camera, looks like his pupils.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know,
That's
I bought
interesting, yeah.
gargoyle glasses
because
after
of
that movie.
because of the Terminator. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only people I have left are Bill Paxton, Brad Reardon, and Brian Thompson. They played the punks. Bill Paxton was the punk leader.
He was the leader. I thought it was the other guy, the dude from Cobra, that got his heart
Yeah.
pushed out through his back. Like
I was going to see if you knew him from Cobra.
I- yeah,
that's
he's
With
Brian
his
Thompson.
fake gap tooth. They gave him a gap
Did
tooth.
he have a fake gap
Yeah,
tooth?
like to just put black.
Oh.
You could tell it was black
I
on
didn't
there.
see that.
But we've done Bill Paxton, right? Yeah.
Mortuary.
Oh, yes.
Paul
Nice.
Dana Jesus
Cin-
Mortuary.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a fun one. Zach was on for that one.
But wasn't he also popped up in something else besides Mortuary?
That's why I think he's
Possibly.
popped up on something recently.
Where he was like, "Oh, that's Bill Paxton," and then he was out of it.
Yeah,
I feel like
he wasn't
we
in
did.
it quick. It was another
Yeah.
quick role like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's all I have for the cast. If anybody has anything else for the cast,
No, I don't think I have anybody
I'll have
else for the
some.
cast.
I could talk to you about like some of the people that were turned down or tried to get into this movie.
Well, I know you want to talk about someone specifically for sure.
We got Mel Gibson turned down the role of Terminator after seeing the film. He praised Arnold's appearance, and I don't think Mel would have worked as the Terminator.
He's kind of small, right? He's
Yeah, you
not
got
as
Sylvester
big.
Stallone was considered for the Terminator.
Okay.
Yo. Yo, I'll be back.
He was considered,
Uzi
for the, but he
9mm.
declined. And then a year
Uzi
after,
9mm.
him and James Cameron wrote Rambo: First Blood Part 2, 1985. We'll be doing that.
Wait,
Okay.
James Cameron wrote part 2?
He helped write it with Stallone.
I had no idea. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Jennifer Jason Leigh was seriously considered for the role of Sarah Connor, but Jimmy Cameron feared she was too young for the part.
She's supposed to be like 19 or
yeah.
something like that, right?
Probably early 20s, I'd say.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
how old Linda Hamilton was. Like
I know.
19.
Like I'm.
Linda Hamilton just looks older.
I guess she just
Probably
looks
was older,
yeah.
you know. Let's see who else do I have here. Glenn Close was the original choice to play Sarah Connor. I don't like that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, I've never gotten her appeal.
Yes.
She's fine as an actress, I guess,
Yeah.
but like attractiveness,
No.
Like that was the
Yeah.
the fatal flaw of Fatal Attraction. Was I was like,
Yeah.
why does Michael Douglas give a shit about this
Yeah.
chick? Like,
Yeah.
at all?
Gina Davis,
See, I could see her being there because she's like kind of athletic.
Yep.
She is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I could see her being
Jodie Foster, I could see her doing it. Rosanna Arquette,
Wow.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver,
Oh, I mean,
Both,
who's she gonna
yeah.
Oh,
be?
yeah.
Meg Ryan, no.
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 Julia Louis Dreyfus,
Oh my god!
Really?
Having
That would-
Elaine as
I mean,
that would be great.
Jamie
Not a
Lee
square to
Curtis,
Who? Jamie Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis,
Oh, Jamie
yeah.
Lee Curtis. Okay.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis, and the English pop star Sting were considered for the role of Kyle Reese.
I mean, this is
That would have been a crazy
very
first role
early
for
Bruce
Bruce
Willis.
Willis,
I mean, he
yeah.
hadn't done Moonlighting yet, which was his first thing.
Tom Selleck was rumored to be cast as the Terminator, but was forced to turn down the role due to his commitment to the TV series Magnum PI.
So he lost out on Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Terminator
Because of Magnum PI.
I mean, it would have been. I felt like if he was the Terminator, he couldn't have had that mustache.
No.
If he
That would've
was
looked
the
Yeah.
Terminator, he would not be making these stupid commercials he makes now. He does like reverse mortgage.
Oh, he does reverse mortgages.
Do you think he'd be James Cameron's guy now and be like, I'll put you in Avatar? And you're like, okay. But he has a show now, right? Doesn't he do like
Yeah,
a
he has that
pop show or
oh,
something
That's
like
ending,
that?
I think.
Yeah, but it's been on for like a decade. I've never seen it, but
I'll
I
probably
see
go on the
commercials all the time.
reruns or
I'm
whatever.
sure
yeah.
Tom Selleck is doing okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What else do I have here? Kevin Kline and Michael Douglas were also considered for the Terminator.
Michael
Douglas?
Douglas.
Get out of here.
I mean, I know
Wearing glasses,
we
walking
all
into the
know
gun
Arnold
store.
in this role. No one else can play this role but
No.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's it.
Right.
I mean,
I
that's
agree.
it.
Edward James Olmos and Louis Gossett Jr. were considered for the
I
role
love
of
Lou
Lieutenant
Gossett Jr.
Traxler.
Sure, those guys could have been
Yeah.
Well,
cops.
hey,
for sure.
aren't we skipping over the elephant in the room here? Wasn't O.J. Simpson considered for the Terminator?
My
Look
next
at that.
line.
Oops. Oh, sorry,
He stole
dude.
his thunder.
We're getting to it.
Edit
You know?
this out.
I mean, he always does that. You know what I mean? My next one is when O.J. Simpson was still in the running to play the Terminator. Mock-up movie poster was made, and I have it right there for you
Oh
kids.
wow!
Yeah.
Actually, he doesn't look bad there.
Yeah.
Oh, he's,
He probably
young,
could've
he's probably not even
worked.
40 yet.
He probably could have worked, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I mean, OJ was like a decent actor. He was great as Nuremberg and
Yeah.
all the
I mean,
gun
he-
movies.
he-
But
Tower-
the Naked
great.
Gun, it was just too funny,
Oh,
you know. I think that
He was
maybe
great
is
in the
what
Tower of
ruined it.
Inferno.
Yeah.
I mean, he
love that
definitely was a
movie.
great actor.
He was good on the stand.
Yeah.
Take the stand.
And he really, did kill a bunch of people.
Yes,
No.
he was a real life
Yeah,
Terminator.
real Terminator.
Yeah.
Did you want to mention Deborah Winger or no?
No, because I don't know
Because I'm
about
going to bring
Deborah
up Deborah Winger. Deborah Winger successfully auditioned and won the role of Sarah Connor. However, she later changed her mind and turned it down.
because she's a
Wow.
nutcase.
To do what?
Is
what?
she a
Doesn't
nutcase
say
now?
she turned it down for
Probably
it.
Terminator
Yeah, maybe,
or
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I heard she was absolutely batshit crazy.
Really? Interesting.
She had to have been to turn that shit down.
Leah Thompson revealed in a 2015 interview on the Nerdist podcast that she auditioned for Sarah Connor.
I've always liked her.
Randy Quaid and Lance Henriksen were strongly considered for the role of Terminator.
Can you see
Randy Quaid?
Shitter's full.
Yeah, like this is like a year after Vacation came
Yeah.
out. You're just- I cannot see
Oh.
it. Like
This can't be a serious list.
Serious list, dude.
this is like everybody in
from the
Hollywood.
internet.
is just like-
IMDb.
James Cameron just said, "Give me the list of everybody who's available."
Seriously,
in
everybody was
Hollywood."
you figure everybody was reading for shit back then in that 80s.
Yeah.
You figure all these
and
guys were
James
in there.
Cameron was nobody.
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
probably
yeah.
like, give me who I can get.
Cheap.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he had here you got this whole list. Ron Perlman would have been a really young Ron
could've-
Perlman.
he-
Stephen Lang, Chevy Chase, Michael
Chevy
Keaton,
Chase, you have
Michael
no.
Keaton, fucking Batman as a
This is-
Terminator.
Alec Baldwin,
Fletch?
Harrison Ford, Richard Gere, Robin Williams, Jack Nicholson,
Robin Williams.
Martin Sheen,
Morton.
Kevin Costner, and John Travolta
This
were
is
all
everybody
considered
that's
for the
filmed
role of the
movie.
Terminator.
Yeah. This is, James Cameron was given a list of everybody, and they
He
said,
shotgunned
There's
it
a lot
out
of
to
comedy
everybody.
people.
Yeah. Robin Williams
Maybe an
was
initial draft was like some
absolutely
kind
a
of comedy
mistake
type.
to even consider
There's a
him.
lot of comedians in this list.
Yeah.
That's
Did you
it.
see
yeah.
Chevy Chase doing? Oh my god, I love Chevy Chase, but I can't see him being the Terminator.
Cameron got the idea of giving Schwarzenegger even fewer lines than he had in the movie Conan in 1982. Schwarzenegger had 24 lines in that movie. He only had 14 lines in this movie.
And one of them was
they were all gold.
"Fuck
There was
you,
only
asshole."
14 lines? Shit. I guess I didn't pay attention to that.
I'm a
Wow.
friend of Sarah Connor. I was told that she's here. Could I see her, please?
That's the biggest line. That probably took like 3 days
That's
to
the
film.
longest
They're
line,
like,
too, yeah.
come on, Arnold, you got to get it, man.
That's like that State Farm commercial now. It's like neighbor.
That's so
It's
funny,
not
man.
neighbor.
That's a funny commercial. It's like when you get Arnold Schwarzenegger, you expect him to say neighbor.
Yeah.
Don't be corrected on
Us
it.
old heads that remember back then that Arnie was nobody.
No, at this time he was no. I mean, Conan. I
He was
He was-
coming everywhere though.
Yeah. and he was mocked everywhere. And
Yeah.
he was mocked for this movie, saying, "Oh yeah, you give Arnold Schwarzenegger the role of a robot
A guy that doesn't
because he
have to
can't
talk."
act,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he can't speak."
Yeah.
I gotta say, I think one of the things that I was a little disappointed about in this movie was the fake head that they used
Oh, that was
when,
the
when he was
robot
digging
head?
into his eye.
Yeah.
Because
Even back then,
I think it looked better when he had the
Yeah,
fake
later
eye
in
on
the
his
movie.
real head.
Yeah, like the makeup
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
I was like,
later in
why
the
did they
movie.
just do that? Like when he's like looking in the mirror after he takes the after he digs
It
his
looks
eye.
like a whole piece of leather is like laid on top of his
I mean, I
face.
get it.
Yeah.
It's 1984.
Yeah.
They didn't know it was going to be watched on HD TVs and stuff like that. But I was like looking at it going like, this is not a good effect. And that was really the only effect in the whole movie that I was kind of
It kind of takes you out of it a little bit. That's all, yeah.
I watched the movie again a couple nights ago. I watched it like 3 times leading up to this. And I had with me the same friend that I watched Up in Smoke with. And he hadn't seen the movie before. So
He was floored with it. Wasn't
Oh
he?
yeah. So we were watching the movie, and then when that came up, he was like, "Bro, this looks horrible."
Yeah.
And then later, when he got in the truck and he had all the makeup on or whatever, he was like, "Bro, why didn't they just do this before?"
that would have been the better call, I think.
Yeah.
I think they had to make a fake Arnold head, and no fake head ever looks real, ever. Never, ever.
And remember Michael Biehn, or his character in it, and it was also commenting, saying about how the early Terminators had like a rubber skin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, we were able to detect them right out of the,
Yeah, and then they put it.
And then that's what you end up getting when he's cutting his eye out and stuff. It's like, is this supposed to be the rubber skin
rubber
version?
No, the
But they
weirdest
said that?
the weirdest thing about that is like after he gets in the truck and is like driving it, you'll see like a few times where it like cuts to inside the truck. They have the puppet in there sometimes.
Do they really?
Yes.
What is he, like stuff in the background or something?
No.
There's a couple times where you can see he's got like it's definitely Arnold. He's got a fake
Yeah,
thing on his
there's
eye.
other times where it's the puppet with the weird rubber skin guy.
And did you guys pick up on that it was a T-101?
You know what? I thought he was a T-800.
Yeah.
No, Cyberdyne Systems
it.
model 101.
Yeah, they
And
said
I
they
think-
definitely say that, but they never say he's a T-800 because in Terminator
Right.
2 they definitely say he's an 800 because the other guy's 1,000.
Well, they mentioned
Yeah.
the 600
liquid
series
guy.
had rubber skin. You
Yeah.
know, I think that the Cyberdyne System Models 100 series was the T600, and then the T101 is with the T800 model.
Yeah, but I thought when they said 101, I was like,
Yeah.
huh. I thought it was an 800, but like I guess it's.
But he's an 800 in the second one because it's not the same robot.
right.
It's
No,
a
no,
different robot.
But he's the same kind of robot.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
He's not the
I
same
think
exact
generation.
one.
I think it's like the model of robot or whatever
Yeah.
model of robot, and then the 101 is like the infiltrator model. Like
and I figured they just had thousands of them that look like him in the future.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to.
That's what they sent back in
Yeah,
part 2.
they're not going to make a million different versions
Why
of the
would they make
robot's
them look
face.
different, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to watch more of them?
Well, you guys told me not to.
I know, but I was
I
just
wouldn't
curious
watch
if you were going to
anymore.
watch more. You can
Maybe
do it,
we'll-
you won't. But I tell you,
I don't
there's
want to
no
be just
sense
Tara.
going
So
any further.
Tara looked it up. There's 5 total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'll
Okay.
tap
Maybe
out
watch
after 3.
Yeah, maybe watch
Okay.
3.
They
3's
start
not
getting
horrible,
shitty. Yeah.
but it's not that good.
Isn't so? Is he in all of them?
Yes.
And is Sarah?
He's
is
not in
living
Salvation.
Oh yeah.
Salvation's in the future with Christian Bale
I thought
and
Christian
John
Bale was
Get
in
Connor
Amelia Clark.
as Linda
that's
Hamilton.
right.
Yeah,
She's
that's
in
the
one.
Genesis one, right?
Yeah, or
Okay.
Geonosis or whatever.
If you want to really see a convoluted timeline,
That movie is
watch that.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
I watched
really
that in
bad.
the theater.
I saw it in the
Okay.
theater too.
Because
by
they start
myself.
sending people back to before the original Terminator shows up, 1984. He goes back to 1982, and then they bounce up to 1994.
But
and
they also
bounce
say
them
Oh my
over.
God.
they sent Arnold back to like the 60s, which explains why now he's like a 70-year-old
Oh, yeah.
Terminator because now he's just aged. He's been aging for 50 years.
Yeah,
So
but that
they
doesn't make
age-
sense either.
So they have it. They change it up where now the Terminators
they
can
age also, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
But that one,
that
I was
doesn't make
wondering
any
how they
sense, bro,
explain
because
Arnold aging.
they don't have
They try,
choice.
but they fail, and it's very schizophrenic.
Okay.
I mean, sure, the outside might like age a little bit, but like the metal exoskeleton is still going to be perfectly
Yeah.
functional
Yeah.
like 70 years from
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst plot point of that Genesis one was when all of a sudden John Connor was just a Terminator. For just
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're like,
Yeah,
oh
the
yeah, John
digitalness
Connor's
in
a
his
Terminator.
face.
I'm like,
Oh my God.
why?
Digitalness.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is he a Terminator? And they're like, yeah, because they changed the timeline. Now he's a Terminator. I'm like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, that was a really bad
9000
hit.
puts the digital
horrible
in John
hit.
Connor's face and turns him into a T3000.
Oh, God, that was
Oh
terrible.
my gosh.
So Jimmy Cameron, Michael Biehn, Lance Henriksen, and Bill Paxton all worked together again in what movie, Dana? In 1986.
Oh, 1986.
Yep.
We've mentioned it many times already.
Aliens.
Very good.
I was going to say Titanic because Bill Paxton's in Titanic.
He is.
I never saw Titanic.
He's
so.
in the
was?
present
He's in the
day.
present.
He's the
He's
boat
one
guy
looking
trying
for
to get the jewel.
of the.
Yeah.
He's got like bleach blonde hair or something like that. He's got like different hair. But.
Yeah.
And although this film is often credited with breaking new ground by introducing a female action star, Jimmy Cameron has repeatedly stated that he never set out to make a feminist statement. He simply made the lead role a woman because he wanted to be original and noted that this had never been done before in an action movie.
So there was
Halloween.
really
Ripley and
never.
Alien wasn't a
Yeah.
action hero.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Jamie Lee Curtis isn't an
Jamie Lee
action hero.
Curtis.
I read that was his
That's right.
inspiration.
yeah,
Oh.
I
Jamie
think so. Yeah,
I don't know.
And
I mean, is Jamie Lee Curtis an action hero because of Halloween, or is she just?
I think so.
I
She's-
think
does
that-
she?
but they call her a horror icon,
Horror- like a
That's
scream
just more
queen.
that
And I
kind
don't
of
even
thing, yeah.
really consider the Terminator like an action film.
I consider it a
it's
horror.
It's more of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Definitely
that
a-
was
yeah.
referred to as
we
a horror
considered
movie.
having this in
It's like a
Halloween,
sci-fi,
yeah.
Sci-fi
high
horror.
horror. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say thriller is more.
But it's still kind of actiony, I guess,
There's
in the
definitely
fact that there's a lot
it's
of
a
fighting.
thriller.
T2
Yeah.
is definitely more of an action movie.
Yes.
It's funny because
Yeah.
both
I agree,
Alien and the Terminator are horror sci-fi,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
the sequels are action movies,
Yeah.
both done by James
Does this
Cameron.
one come up as horror sci-fi?
It was horror, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Yeah, it was
originally
listed as horror.
Okay.
Yeah. Horror sci-fi, but yeah.
It makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
Do you think the LA police would ever care if a homeless guy was getting his pants ripped off by some other naked guy?
Not nowadays.
Because he's ripping the pants off the guy, and the cops stop and go running after him. I'm like, why would they care? Why would
See
they
that
care?
guy? See that guy?
I couldn't imagine that they would ever give a crap that a homeless guy was getting his pants taken
Yeah.
off of him.
Oh,
Maybe
you know
they
what?
had this
Especially in the 80s.
But these cops were
Yeah.
stupid because they left their cop
Oh, yeah,
car
they-
unlocked with a
unlocked, so that-
shotgun sitting right in the passenger seat. So they weren't the brightest.
I had
just
this
hadn't
thought
dealt with, like, a soldier
when I
before.
watched it again. Oops, sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
Is that the whole movie would have went a different direction if the Terminator found like the Golden Girls and took their clothes instead.
Yeah.
He just happens to happen upon punk rockers. So
Yes.
he's got this really cool jacket with, studs on it and stuff. Makes him very threatening.
They
It would
did
have
a-
been great if he was
they
in
did a-
high heels and like a muumuu
In
or
part
something.
two, they do a much better job of that because he goes into that bar.
He goes into
and
a
he's
biker
scanning
bar.
different
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and he's like,
True.
that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
He's too short, and then
Yeah.
he finds the guy that
Yeah.
actually matches
Well,
him.
yeah, that's because he's a protagonist. In
Well,
in that.
Yeah.
Like,
now
we don't
you're-
really get an inside.
we
view
have the
of
technology to
villain.
actually show all that kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
vision of his.
Yeah.
But you don't know he's the protagonist.
But
at
it
the
would have
beginning of
been
that movie.
great.
You don't know
No. Yeah.
he's good until he saves John in the mall there.
Yeah.
Horror comedy with him going around in a muumuu would have been really funny. So,
We got any motorcycle heads out there? We got the Terminator rides a Honda CB754. That's for all you fun kids out there. And Sarah's scooter is a Honda Elite.
I thought it was a Vespa.
Yeah.
Moped.
So when Arnold goes to get the phone number or the address for the Sarah Connors, and there's a big dude standing there, and he just kind of grabs him and throws him away.
Yeah.
I assume there was going to be. I mean, I've seen this movie a million times. I know it's not happening, but I feel like there should have been a conflict where the guy came back and he's like, "Yo, motherfucker!" He's like, and then Arnold just pushes his hand through his chest or something like that because that dude was big. And
man.
yeah, well, like
You
the
got a
bouncer when he
serious
goes into
attitude
Tech
problem.
Noir.
Techno,
He just
what a great name.
just breaks
breaks his hand.
Yeah, breaks his hand, just crushes it, and that
Yeah,
guy's
$4.50 coverage
Yeah.
charge for women in '84. That seems very high.
Why would you make a cover charge with 50
For
cents at the
change,
end of the
you
year?
have to give everybody
That's what
50 cents. You have to give everybody 50 cents. You're hoping they'll just tip it. Just keep the 5. Just keep it.
But yeah, you're supposed to let the women in for free.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I was surprised by that. And then I was kind of disappointed. Again, I've seen this movie a million times. I knew we weren't going to see it, but they only mentioned the second Sarah Connor getting killed. You never see. You know there's
Oh, yeah.
three.
Yeah.
You see the first one, and then you know who the third one is. But then they're like, "Oh, another Sarah Connor got killed." I'm like, they should have showed us that. Like, why wouldn't they
I don't
show
know.
us the
So
other
you
one
had
getting
spoiled
killed?
that, but I didn't know what you meant. So
What do you mean I spoiled?
you
that?
said before I watched it, you were like, "Oh yeah, I'm only up to the part where they kill the second Sarah Connor," and I was
Okay.
like, "Andy,"
Oh, sorry.
but that's not what I thought you meant. So it actually didn't spoil anything for me because it's
They
not
don't-
what I
they
thought
It
you
was
meant.
being methodical.
Yeah.
Just mention
Yeah.
it.
And you know what I picked up on the rewatch too was that if you noticed that John Connor, he actually ripped the paper. Not John Connor.
Kyle Reese.
Yeah, Kyle Reese. Thank you. He ripped out the page out of the phone book because
Yeah.
he couldn't memorize everything. But Arnie, he just scanned it and it went right into his
He does that.
CPU.
He does that with the address book later too. He just goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a
Through the
64 gig in there.
So when in the future the sequels, do they explain or show you the device that takes them back in time? Because they just start appearing with
Genesis,
like
they do.
blue electric bolts and they just show up. But I didn't know if you got to see what was the device that was actually
In Genesis,
sending
don't they
them
show
back.
them building one or something like
Yeah,
that? Because they're
they
trying to
do.
get from the present to the future.
Yeah, they
and-
build one over like
That's right.
Don't watch it.
whenever it was in like 1960 that they sent the one back to protect Sarah when she was like a
a
baby
child,
or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then they like started building one over time, and then when Kyle Reese what's the actor's name?
Who played Kyle Reese in
Genesis.
Genesis?
I don't know.
Is that Jai Courtney?
Yeah, Jai Courtney,
'cause
one
I
of
know
the
he was
worst
in that.
actors
That's a
in
good
Hollywood.
pull.
Yeah, he's a terrible actor.
Yeah.
Really? I don't know if I've seen him in anything.
How do you
He's
remember
not-
the name? I know that name, but
Because
yeah. Jai,
he's in something
J-A-I,
else
right?
big. He's in
Yeah, I know the name. I
not
just
He was
don't
in
know what he
Suicide
looks like.
Squad too.
yes, he was.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He was Captain Boomerang. I
Right.
think.
Yep.
This it topped the U.S. box office for 2 weeks on its initial release, but it was knocked off in its third week by what movie? We will
This
be
came
doing.
out in the 80s.
We'll be
or
doing it.
84.
We'll be doing it
Beverly
this
Hills Cop?
year.
Beverly
No,
Hills
we'll be
Cop?
doing it this year, though. You got to guess?
Gremlins?
George Burns.
Oh God, you devil or
yes.
Oh, that's on our list?
Yes.
I don't remember
For
seeing
real?
that title.
Wow.
whatever. Someone was asking us about that movie.
Who?
Maybe Dan Isaac or
Was it Dan? He might have.
Jim
Yeah,
or
he might.
something like that.
Somebody
I've never even
one of
heard
those
of
guys
it.
were-
One of the Dans, maybe.
That was
Okay.
the third Oh God movie
Yeah, I love the first one
where
with
George
John
Burns
Denver.
plays God and the devil.
Oh. That actually sounds
Did you
familiar.
ever see the first one with John Denver?
Yeah, I forgot all about
I
that.
don't know.
That's-
I've seen a. Kind of
it's
sounds like familiar with a George
Book
Burns movie.
2, and then Oh God, You Devil.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there's a scene in this movie, and this is one of these things I wonder if Riley even picked up on this, because she walks over to the payphone to make a call, and she looks at a piece of paper
Yeah,
and
it's
hangs
out
the
of
phone
order,
up.
and then she just
but
puts
she
it
doesn't
back
even.
over.
You don't even see that. You just have to know that in 1984, when you walked up to a payphone and there was a piece of paper on there, it was
It's not-
saying
yeah,
out
it's
of
out
order.
of
'Cause
order.
They don't even show you what it says. It's just like she
Yeah.
picks it up and she like throws it down. And I'm like,
No, the best part
phone's
about
out of
that is
order.
she just throws it back down. Like, why not leave it up so everyone can see it? No,
Nope.
it's like, whoa, okay, yeah. Shit, I guess I gotta go somewhere else.
So when Reese comes back through time and he's naked, you see that he's all burned up his back.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, he's got scars.
And that's that scene in the future when he's driving
Yeah, in the car.
the Jeep or whatever, and it flips over and he's in the fire and you see him getting
Charger.
burned in the fire. I was like, oh man, I never picked up on that before. I don't think I've ever watched this movie on a 4K TV before, so I saw the burns on his back. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's from the Jeep accident.
I did not see that.
Did you notice the T-shirt that Sarah was wearing?
At the end, or
It was about 20 minutes into the movie. She was wearing like a bootleg T-shirt.
Was that the hippie shirt that she was wearing? The pink and
I don't.
It was the Jetsons. She was wearing a Jetsons T-shirt.
shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
I don't remember
It was a
that.
bootleg Jetsons T-shirt though. It wasn't like, because it didn't
Yeah.
look like it was them, but it didn't say. It
Oh,
was
okay.
weird. Yeah.
So the guy that's guarding Reese in jail, he knocks him out.
Yeah.
That guy,
Yes.
was that like the one cop that lived because he was unconscious
think it was
while Arnold was shooting up the place? He's like,
Right, 'cause he was like-
he's just laid out in the office, and he woke up like 10 minutes later. And he was like, "Shit,
What's going on?
glad I was out."
When I think he still died because when Arnold put the power cord in like the breaker or whatever, it started a fire. I think the place kind of burned down. Yeah. I mean, there was smoke all over the place by the time they left. I think you could even see fire in one of the windows when Arnold left and was shooting at the car as they were driving away.
It's funny. You don't know how many cops are there, how many die. And I was watching a video yesterday, or the day before, and it was a death count, like a kill count.
Yeah.
And they were doing the kill count for the Terminator. And they're like, this person died, and they're like, we can assume this many people in the police station died, except for the fact that you know exactly how many people died because in
The
Terminator
police
2,
chief.
in Terminator 2, they say he killed like 37 cops in a.
The police chief said, "You'll be safe here."
Well, he
we
says
have 30 cops.
Yeah, but like exactly 30 or like 30.
Yeah.
But
Right, but
in Terminator 2, they tell you that there were like 37 cops there. So the guy in the video is like, "I'm going to use that count for this movie as the canon count for how
I got an
many cops
estimated
were."
body count if you guys want to try
well,
that.
I shouldn't do it because I watched this guy's video and I got a count of how many.
Well, I
get
know
your
it's at
count,
least
'cause
37.
I found different.
Well,
Somebody had
37
27.
37
which
is
is
just the police station.
Just the police station,
But
yeah.
I think
so you
somebody
gotta start there.
somebody wrote 27 as how many were killed, but that's because I don't think you see all the ones that are killed in the police station.
Yeah.
But if you count the ones in the police station, I have a different number. So
And are we counting people in the future that get killed by?
I don't know if I can.
Terminator
It's hard to tell because it's like it lists one of the 3 punks dies when he's punched in the stomach. You know.
And
We don't
did
know
Bill
if the other
Paxton
people
die?
survived.
Like Bill Paxton kind of went flying against the.
Just tell. How about I'll just tell you the number I have. You give me the
I
number.
think the guy said it was 48 or something like
See,
that.
this one
48
is
was
an
the
estimated body count of 39.
Oh, okay.
So
So-
it's probably somewhere in
without the
between.
cops?
Yeah.
Well,
I think that
without
includes
the
the
assumed
cops.
cops. Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, it's tough.
But some
I
of these
found
scenes are
multiple
like-
things,
Yeah.
so
Like how
it's
many
hard to-
people died in the tech noir scene? You see a couple people
Yeah.
fall, but
A couple
yeah.
people
he's
died.
firing
It
all
was
over
like
the place.
5
So
people, I think.
yeah, but
2 people fall on top
You
of
see
Sarah
for
when he
sure those
shoots-
two,
when he
and then-
shoots at her.
Yeah.
And then when Terminator shoots at Kyle Reese and he like hides behind the one guy, that guy gets fucking shot a bunch.
I saw that he shoots Arnold in the arm.
Yeah.
And they said that's the only way that Reese, knowing he could have saved her life, because if he shot her any other place, if he shot him any other place, he still would have been able to fire the
Yeah.
gun and shoot
Yeah.
her accurately. So he shoots his arm so it
Would miss.
goes
Deflects.
yeah,
Yeah,
so it
no.
just kills some innocent person instead. It's like, that poor person. Like,
Yeah.
sorry.
We have to do this movie this year. Conan the Destroyer is 1984.
Well,
So
his name's on the list that I have for doing that movie.
during the production of Conan the Destroyer, Arnold was interviewed about upcoming projects, and he referred to the Terminator as some shit movie I'm doing. Take a couple of weeks. However, he has since recanted the statement, saying
course he has.
Yeah.
it was wrong of me to
Can't
judge
take
the
it
movie
back.
before I even got fully involved. James Cameron created a fantastic character, and while I was hesitant, I now know the Terminator is a defining work in my career. He
Yeah.
also says it's his favorite movie. that
Made
he's
a
mean-
lot
done.
of money.
It's like all those guys that were like shitting on Star Wars when they were filming it, being like, "Dude, what piece of crap are you filming here?" And then
It comes
makes them
out.
billionaires, and they're like, "Oh."
And then the
do
Evil
sequel.
Dead too. All right, they all went home early. They got paid $100 a week, and then they
Yeah.
had to pull out the fake shemps to fill in.
Yeah, right. It was like a bunch of Bruce Campbells, all just like with wigs and stuff.
Yeah,
like that,
it's an
right?
hour and 47 minutes, and the Terminator has 21 minutes of screen time.
Wow. I
it,
didn't
yep.
know it was that little.
The Terminator is the only character to be listed in the American Film Institute's 100 Heroes and Villains as both a villain and a hero.
Okay.
That's cool.
Al Pacino and Arnold Schwarzenegger are the only 2 actors to be on the list as playing a villain and a hero, but Pacino played 2 different characters. It doesn't tell me the damn character.
I would assume it's
Dog Day
Scarface.
What's his
Afternoon?
hero? I mean, Pacino is a hero.
He played the devil,
What
too.
was the one where he was fighting for people's
yeah,
rights?
Devil's Advocate.
Is that Serpico?
And Justice for
Or
All?
Justice for All, maybe.
Serpico, probably, yeah.
One of those.
Yeah, like he played a real life.
He's a lawyer in Serpico, wasn't he?
No,
I
he's
don't
a
know.
cop in
Yeah,
service.
he's a cop.
Serpico, yeah.
But what's the
Serpico
one
was
where
a
he
cop.
played
He's a
a
lawyer.
real life person? And was he
Again,
gay?
was it
Serpico.
against the law?
Was he gay? A gay?
Are you thinking about Dog Day Afternoon? He was gay.
Yeah,
But he's definitely not.
he was a
hero
villain in that, but he was kind of
You're
seen
thinking
as a
he's
hero.
gay in Cruising.
I never saw Cruising. What's
movie-
Cruising?
Cruising is an Al Pacino movie.
Oh,
where
I
he
never
plays a
heard
gay-
that one.
He plays a gay man, yeah.
Oh,
From the 70s.
Yep.
I think Michael Corleone's a hero. I'm going to say Michael Corleone's his role that's a hero. He was just doing it for his family.
And Bill Paxton is the first actor to have been assaulted by a Terminator, an alien, and a Predator.
what?
The second was Lance Henriksen. Contrary to popular belief, Paxton was never confirmed to have been killed by a Terminator or an alien, but
He definitely gets
I
killed
think
by
so,
the
yeah.
alien.
Yeah.
Part
And
2?
it says
He
Henriksen
most
may have
certainly dies in part 2.
Henriksen may have survived his encounter with the Terminator. It says.
Oh,
so.
he got shot. I don't think
He was turned into a turd by a science experiment.
That's true.
And wait, Predator?
Predator 2.
Ah, man, that's Danny Glover. I know that, but I
That's
don't remember Bill
1990, yeah.
Paxton being in that. I haven't seen that enough to know that movie that well. But that's pretty cool. He got at least beat up by, if not killed by,
Yeah.
a Predator, alien,
I like
and
that,
Terminator.
Got a new pen.
Oh, fancy.
I think the only other note I have is
That's
just
I'm out of
a
notes,
comment
yeah.
that I was like, it was so lucky that Sarah and Reese ran into a hydraulics factory or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
They call- like it wasn't a pillow factory or something like that. Because they would have been like, oh, like, what did you just beat it with a pillow?
If it like
But,
ran into our building,
but I
you know?
read that was actually supposed to be Cyberdyne. That was going to be a
Oh, it was.
Cyberdyne, which ends up becoming the whole plot of part 2 when
Yeah,
they go
yeah.
to blow up the
Right.
place in part 2. But they
Yeah.
were going to blow up Cyberdyne in that scene. They just, I guess, went away from it. You don't really see what they're in. They're just in a factory with a lot of hydraulics. So
Yeah.
stuff to crush the Terminator with. That is a great scene, though. And that Terminator is like
Oh, yeah.
just a head and an arm, and he's still coming after
Yeah.
her. I was like,
No, the scene
Yeah, that thing's
before
great.
where he's like this weird stop motion thing.
yeah,
that
it
looked
looked
terrible.
Looked very
dude.
Jason the Argonauts, like
Yeah.
that kind of like the skeletons.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
they were out of money for this.
But you know what?
Like,
I am okay with that because
Yeah.
that's all.
didn't bother me.
That's all they could do back
It's
then. They didn't have
completely fine.
CGI.
I don't have
was
an
much
issue
more
with
pissed off about the fake looking face. I was
Yeah.
like, that
Yeah.
looks bad. The
Just
stop
use makeup,
motion
dude.
robot.
Yeah.
That's all you could do back
And
But
I
it
then.
was
remember it
still-
looking bad even back when I watched
Yeah,
it in
yeah.
1984.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even still, better than Dune's graphics. So
Dune was pretty
that
shitty
was
looking.
really bad. 1980,
The
both these
1984
movies
Dune.
being
Not the new-
1984,
I figured.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
even believe that Dune was made in 1984 and not
It
1964.
is crazy to think about. I mean, I know it brought this up. I think when we did Dune,
That was your
Star
boy,
Wars
too,
was
David
like
Lynch.
Star Wars was
Yeah.
7 years earlier, and they did stop motion stuff in that.
Yeah.
And it looked seamless. It looked
Yeah.
so good. And
Yeah.
7 years later, they're
Alien
still like
was before
Alien.
this.
Yep, yep.
Star Trek.
Man, I mean, I guess it's just a budget thing. I know
Yeah,
this
it's
movie
definitely a
they
budget thing.
made this movie for nothing. I mean, I think it was like $8 million, which back then
What
was,
movie? Terminator?
Yeah.
It was only 8 million?
Yeah, something like that. But
Now James Cameron works with a lot more money.
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he's expecting each one of his movies to make $1 billion now. So
Yeah.
it starts at the budget at like $300 million. You know.
And then
Didn't get any money
then
from me.
200 million in advertising.
I will
Not
never
on-
watch-
too
not on-
expensive these
I watched the
days.
first
Avatar.
Avatar and didn't like it, and I'll never
Yeah,
watch any of them.
I agree.
I'm gonna wait till
I
like the
didn't
fourth
like
one where you
Avatar.
actually are underwater watching it. Like, just
They
swimming.
give you a scuba. They give you a whole mask. You'll be underwater for 3 hours. Be like, great. I hope my tank
Your fingers
lasts.
are all pruned up. All right, you guys have anything else you want to add, or we're gonna get to some scores?
I guess I have one thing that kind of bugged me when I was watching it back in the day and now too, is that he's a Terminator and he comes after his target nonstop. But then why, when they had the chase scene
Yeah.
in the
I
parking
said the
lot,
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, it crashed into the wall. And all the cops surround him, and
Oh,
the
okay, when
Terminator's
they arrest
gone.
him.
He ran away like
Yes.
a little sissy.
Well,
I
that's
said-
when he
yeah.
goes back to the place and fixes his eye and
fixes
his
it.
arm.
But
so he's
either
banged
way-
up or
I think-
something.
Either way, he could have taken out all
She
those
was right
cops. No
there,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I didn't
the
understand
cops.
why he just ran away
Yeah,
in
it
that
made
scene.
sense.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think it's because of the injury to his arm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had to
I-
fix his arm.
I think he
It's
couldn't.
the
Like
hydraulic-
he was having
He
trouble
had another
moving his arm.
arm.
He would. Yeah,
And it was out of balance.
He's right-handed though.
Yeah. Yeah.
our cyborg's hand
Yeah.
the dominant
He doesn't
hand.
have ambidextrity or whatever like programmed into it.
There was something that I picked up on because I watched them back to back, and I had to break out my conception calculator because yes, they exist.
Conception calculator?
Yes. So we know that it was May 12th.
Is
So
that like where
the next
with
day.
the birth control pills are in? Is that the?
Oh,
Yeah.
that kind
That's
of
it.
No,
conception.
you can go on. Yeah,
I
you
didn't
can
even
go
know what you were
online and
going
put
for.
in either your birthday, and then it could tell you when you were conceived. Going full term, so normal full
40 week baby.
pregnancy. Yeah. So it was May 13th when they had sex one time. That's it. But in the next movie, there he said
And
his
that was
birthday.
that was just 2 days ago.
It was just a couple days
Yeah,
ago.
just that.
And in the next one, he was born, I think, February 28th or something. So I was like, that doesn't make any sense. May to February. So I broke it out. But it ended up he, I guess, either was a month late or.
But also, that's the movie's what, 7 years later?
Yeah.
He's not 7. He's like 15 or something
Yeah.
like that.
But he's supposed to be 10.
Yeah, it's 10.
He's
he really
supposed to be
supposed to
10.
be
But the
10?
actor the actor himself, I think, was
He
a
didn't
little
act
older.
like a 10-year-old.
He
He's
was.
driving
I
that
looked at. I
moped
know.
around and stuff like
and they
that.
said he was 10.
Well, he was an independent person, yes, but he was being
Because he had
raised by Sarah.
He had
Yeah.
the foster parents and stuff like
yeah,
that.
I mean, if Sarah Connor's your mom, you know how to do some stuff.
I guess
Oh,
so.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I just felt he was like a teenager.
But
in
I
that
always,
movie,
whenever they
but-
do like, a birth date or a timing, like I always have to do the math to be like, does this make sense?
We talked about that
And,
earlier.
we talked about it earlier,
Remember
like this could not have happened in this timeline because whatever. But maybe she had him a month late.
You know,
Maybe
maybe
you'll love Genesis then.
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
Ray Bolger was on the
Nothing
Love
adds
Boat,
up.
remember? And he said he was on the Titanic.
Oh,
we
right.
figured out the dates.
He would have to
didn't
be like
work.
110 or something
Yeah.
like that.
It didn't work out right.
Yeah.
We did that with someone like concerning World War II. Oh, Miyagi.
Yes.
Miyagi
Oh,
talks
yeah,
about
yeah.
how he fought in World War II. I'm
And
like,
you're
that would
doing
mean he's
the
like,
math, yeah.
that would mean he's like
It made
90
more
years
sense if he
old
fought
now.
in Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would have made more sense if he fought in Korea.
Yeah.
But all right, but let's get to some scores. Who wants to go first? You got Tara's score to this time?
I did.
Too?
So I gave this an 89. I loved it. I don't know why I never saw it back in the day, because in the 80s, all we ever did was watch TV and movies all day
Yeah,
long.
I was surprised when you said you had never seen this.
And then Tara said she has a asterisk with her. She gave it an 86 because the time travel doesn't make sense. It's like I was trying to explain to her. I'm like, it's just how it works. And she kept going, but if he went back and did this, that doesn't make any sense because how I was like, it's just time travel.
Well,
I don't know.
it's certainly the
Just
chicken or the egg
accept it.
thing. He went
Yeah.
back in time to knock up the
Yeah.
woman that's
Yeah.
gonna have the baby that's going to send him back.
And she didn't like that. She's like, that doesn't make any sense.
It's a
Because
cycle.
I'm like, listen, you just have to accept that
That's
that's
the
how time
paradox.
travel works.
She still gave it
Yeah.
a pretty good score for
She
not
did,
liking
yeah.
that part. Yeah.
And then I watched Terminator 2 right
Yes.
after, and I liked it a lot more. I felt like I knew that movie, though I'd never seen it, just because I watched the Guns N' Roses video over and over and over, because again, in the 90s, that's what you did. So I felt like I knew everything that was coming up. And even though I never saw it, I had a fear of the liquid metal guy, because I remember thinking, because in 91 I was
MTV did commercials
13.
with that too.
Yeah, I was like, how are they going to defeat him? But yet I never saw it. So anyway, I was very excited to finally watch it, and I loved it. I gave it a 92.
Nice.
Maybe I'll go watch the other ones.
If you do, let us know.
I will.
I am very close to your score. I love this movie. Not as much as I love T2, but I gave this an 88. So I was
Nice.
right there in between you and Tara's score. But yeah, it's just like we said, there's some weak CGI in this, but
Yeah.
what are you going to do? But I can look past it. I give it an 88.
You guys want to go, or want me to go?
Go ahead, Andy.
I gave this movie an 85. I like it a lot. Terminator 2 might be my favorite movie of all time. Like
Nice.
that. I don't know if that's 100, but it's at least a
Close to it.
99. So
You know who does give it 100? The critics.
Terminator 2? Or
No, they give this movie, the
really?
Terminator,
Wow,
100.
okay. I mean, this is a great movie. It's
89
fun.
for the
It's great. It's got all the right things.
Yeah,
it's all
it
the
hits
things
all
I
the
like
spots,
about
yeah.
movies. It's even got Linda Hamilton's boobs. We didn't even bring those up, and they were
Oh,
fine.
yeah, that's
Brian
right.
was here, we would have brought
Yeah.
them up. Yeah.
Which is maybe why they didn't get all those other women they were looking for. If they said they got to be naked, I don't know.
Yeah.
Jimmy Lee
Jennifer
Curtis wouldn't have cared.
Jason Leigh would have
she
no
wouldn't have
problem.
cared.
They
but-
didn't
Yeah.
mention
I mean-
Phoebe Cates, so she was probably already
She was
off the
locked
market.
down,
Yeah.
locked down already. Kevin Kline was mentioned, though. He was going to work. All right, you boys?
Yeah.
What do you got?
For me, I would give the first movie like a solid 89 to 91%. It's probably one of my favorite movies ever. I did mention that I watch it a lot.
Yeah.
For the second movie, I would probably give it probably the same. I mean, the main drawback for me in the second movie was the acting. I really didn't like Edward Furlong's acting.
It was pretty bad. That was his first movie?
And by the way, Linda Hamilton's acting in this is terrible.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
end scene where she's at the gas station with the guy taking the
Yeah.
picture, I was like, they couldn't do a second take. I'm like, she is just obviously reading off the cue cards. I'm like,
You would think-
because she's actually, I think,
You would
by
think
part-
Jim Cameron would want it better than
like
that.
by part two, she's a good. I think she's good
She
in that.
improved.
She's like,
Yeah.
she's a
A
really
lot.
good actress in that. But
I thought it was PTSD.
Well, it was 7
For
it was
me,
7 years. She should
she'd
have
taken
gotten
some
better by
acting
then.
Yeah.
lessons by then, maybe.
Her
found it-
arms got better.
I found it kind of funny because Robert Patrick had better acting, acted more like a person than the human actors in the movie.
So you've seen T2 a lot, right?
Yeah.
So there's a scene where he's running towards the elevator
Yeah.
and he's holding a gun in each hand. Have you ever really like paid attention to how he's running? Because he's
which one?
Arnold.
Oh yeah, he's doing like this.
He's running like
he's
this.
guarding them. He's
Yeah,
he's
making himself bigger.
I
absorbing all
know.
the
But if
bullets.
when you watch it from behind, he's swishing his butt back and forth in a very like girly way.
Well,
He's like
he's trying to take up
it's
as much.
almost like
he's
you
trying to
see
take up
him
as
from
much
behind,
space as possible.
but it's almost like if you had seen him from the front, he's like running from a mouse because he's like. I had to rewind it. I made Tara watch
my
like
God,
5 times.
that's
Like
awesome.
this is look at him running. It was so funny.
I think he's trying to absorb as many bullets as
Yeah,
possible.
yeah, in his
like-
butt because he was swinging that butt back and
scene
forth.
in that
that's what
movie,
we're gonna have to
man.
go. We're gonna go look at
Oh
that.
yeah, if you,
I can't
I
think
even
of the
Googled
scene. Yeah.
Terminator 2 Arnold running, and it immediately came up, and it was just a meme of his little butt going back and forth.
Speaking of which, we didn't even talk about Arnold's butt in this. It looked very good when he
Yeah.
was
Oh, yeah.
staring
His
down
naked.
on Hollywood and
Yeah,
his
right.
No, and then
nakedness.
his dick flopping around when he walks up to the punks. I always
Yeah,
point
he
that
was
shit out to
flopping
people
out,
who
yeah.
haven't watched it.
Flippity
I'd be
flop.
like, look at that. I pointed at the screen.
Just like in Grease too.
Oh my god! And all the
There's a
years I
hidden
watched
penis in
that,
Grease,
yeah,
too.
there's a hidden.
Oh,
Flopping
yes.
He comes
Yeah.
out of his shorts.
I
Yes.
do remember that. Yes.
You didn't give you a score.
I'm the highest. 95.
95. Nice.
It's been part of my life since 1984.
I remember
Did Michelle give you a score?
she didn't watch it with
Okay.
me. I watched this by myself. My grandmother and her husband saw this movie in the theater. My grandmother was one of those people that would just go every Saturday and go see like 2 movies and stuff like that. And I remember I was like 14 when this came
You're, like,
out.
talking
and
to
we're-
your grandmom about this
and we're
movie?
at Thanksgiving, and she was like, "I saw this movie with that German guy that everybody makes fun of." I'm like, "I don't even know who you're talking." I don't think I even knew who Arnold was at the time. So when she said German, I'm like, "Okay, fine, whatever." And she was like telling me about this movie, and I was like, "That sounds fantastic." And I was like, I gotta go see this. And I didn't see it for. I mean, I was only 14, so I couldn't see this in
Yeah.
the theater at the time. I had to wait till it came on video, like in '86 or something
Yeah.
like that. But I remember just like. Now that I think about it, my grandmother's seeing this in the theater. It's so bizarre.
Hey, did
Yeah.
anybody research like the old ratings from like Siskel and Ebert and things? Because I didn't at the
like the
time
movie.
because I just have that memory.
They
I
liked
think
it.
as I
'Cause
mentioned
it was
earlier.
100% on the critics.
Yeah,
So.
I'm pretty sure
But that's
that I read
from
something.
the time that it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They take all the forever.
read-
forever.
Because I
Ebert's
remember
not
a
putting
lot of
anything out now.
criticism
Oh yeah,
back
definitely
then
not.
about the movie and how bad it was, and
Oh yeah, there was the critics kind of didn't. I read that critics kind of didn't like it when it came out.
They
Right,
love
like-
it now. It's 100%.
and they made fun of Arnie relentlessly.
Yeah, I mean they didn't like the Thing either when that
Yeah,
came out.
you're right. That
Yeah.
movie was,
That's probably my favorite movie.
that's a great
Yeah.
movie.
Like,
We
we
did
did
that
that
one.
movie,
Oh my god, that was
yeah.
so good. I mean, they made fun of Arnold even by the time Terminator 2 came out, and by then he'd done like Total Recall.
They're going to make
and
fun of him
Run Man
anyway.
and-
No
yeah.
matter
Well,
what he makes.
No,
they're
I
gonna
think it
make
was
fun of him,
Junior was the pivot point because they said, "Oh, look, he's really acting in this movie.
Maybe.
And he has a baby."
Well, when he started doing like Kindergarten Cop, started
Yeah.
doing the comedies, Twins,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, look at him. He's not playing like a dumb meathead or whatever."
Yeah.
But
What do we got coming up
always good.
next, Andy?
Connor's going to come on for Beverly Hills Cop.
And then
And
after
then
that,
after that, Daniel, my Daniel, our third
Yeah,
Daniel
like
of the
Aaron
year,
Trout in it.
will be doing Pope of Greenwich Village.
that's exciting.
yeah. I'm
I
very
haven't
excited
seen
for
that in a long time. I'm looking forward to that one. Mickey Rourke.
Yep.
Nice.
Jonathan Banks is.
Jonathan Banks.
Jonathan
I always
Banks
love a
is
young
nice.
Jonathan
We
Banks.
got,
Yeah.
yeah, he pops up in a lot of movies.
He does. We had him already this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the movie I thought was going to be good.
Buckaroo Banzai?
Yes, he was in-
Banzai?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Grab
All
it.
right, everybody, you know where to find us. We're over there on Spreaker. Download, rate, subscribe, review, do all those fun things. We're the exciting and new podcast on all our socials. The Jazoo on Instagram, Jazoo74 on Twitter. This has been the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason. Got them both right.
AEGonzo1 on Twitter, AEGonzo1970 on Instagram. I'm Andy.
Dana Caps on TikTok, Dana Caps 77 on Instagram. I'm Dana.
Brian Mack, I'm offline. Don't look for me.
We'll tag.
Riley Mack. He stole the words from my mouth. He literally copied
Don't look
me.
for any of those Macs online.
I'll tag you in my post.
Better not.